Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing fine and having a fantastic weekend. In this video, I will be reviewing on another robot called Eurostable Lite for MetaTrader 4, and this robot only works with EURUSD. It is a scalper and it uses semi-grid, and the time frame is 15 minutes. I think for the past 1.5 years, I feel like we have been only focusing on the robots that are trading on gold scalper, gold trending, gold swing, and etc. So I think we kind of neglected these robots that are working on the major pair forex, and they are still powerful. Now this robot has an incredible result. It basically flipped 1k to 14k in just 1 year on live result or live account, and the minimum deposit you can use 500 to 1000. EA is not using martingale, but it does use the grid system. It can be single and multiple trade on at a time. So how this robot works, I know when it comes to grid there is this negative concept of using grid. The grid system is dangerous, it will wipe out your account. That's true, but there are certain robots like this one is using a different approach. So how does EA work? Basically, when you have a sell or buy, great. If the price is go down, then it will hit take profit. If the price reverses back, it will open another sell and then another sell until it go back to a certain level of price, and it will close it, whether it is a total loss or total profit. That is quite familiar approach using grid, but this robot is not like any other classical robot that just open trade over and over. This robot has two filters. One of them is news filter indicator that will control when your trade are opened and where they are closed. For example, if we have high impact news, it will close the trade 1 hour before the high impact news, and it will open it 1 hour after high impact news. And then we have another indicator that is used by this robot to determine when to sell and when to buy, which helps to increase the accuracy of the robot so you don't get massive drawdown and lose your account. So this approach is kind of new. It is like hybrid EA between robot and indicator. It is combining between two things, and I think at the end of this video you will agree with me that this is not a perfect robot, but it is reliable and the best thing we have currently for forex pair such a Euro USD major pair. So this is the Eurostable Lite MT4. We have the latest version and we have the setup PDF. The original price is 300 for 2 accounts. We're giving it for 100 for unlimited account, and you will get same thing as original. So what is this Eurostable? It's basically a robot that works for Euro USD on 15-minute time frame, and it uses some sort of high accuracy indicator to determine where to buy, where to sell, and at the same time there is a smart news filter which is included, and the AI based stable trading logic. I don't know if this is AI based, but this is more of price action robot. And then we have 15 time frame optimized. That's true. The AI work based on 15-minute chart to capture the micro trend on minimal risk. So here we don't have much description, but the minimum deposit should be 300 to 500 at least. ECN account standard is you can use it on standard as well, you won't have any problem. And when you purchase it, what's included? So basically you have the X4 for MT4, you have the user manual, setup guide, and frequently asked question, and of course you get lifetime software update. So the reason why this EA is so interesting because it is just plug and play setup. You don't need high frequency complex procedure type of EA, and it has been tested with live results. So the first one is by the vendor and the second one is my own result. I have been testing it on demo for the past few weeks. If we go back to the live result by the vendor, and you can see he started on 1000 USD only and then flip it to 40k in just 1 year. I think that's incredible. We do have some draw drawdown, and this is possible, but nonetheless the maximum drawdown only reached 22%. So that means there is a high accuracy of this robot, and the risk is always associated with any type of robot. So when it comes to accuracy, you can see we have 73% in comparing to 23%. So this is the accuracy of this robot. I think the accuracy is not bad, and the average holding time is a bit too much, but you can consider this robot short-term scalper, which means it will depend on the price reverse when you have drawdown trades. The risk to reward ratio is kind of similar. If you go back to the history, it started from 2024 of March, and you can see the result were consistent and reliable. Here we have 61%, here we have 40%. I think the result is absolutely amazing. Yes, there is a risk associated on this robot, but I will tell you what to do about it. So you can see the average profit per month is more than 20%, and here, while the majority of robots were blown out and they did not work during the trade war, this robot proved to be working even at the worst market condition. So you can see he started with 1000 USD and the lot size 0.03, then 0.04. Of course it is auto lot size, but I think he kind of tried to use martingale at the certain point of time, because you can see here we have bit increase of the lot size. That means beside the grid he kind of used martingale at the beginning. So this is one of the problem with this, but right now he stopped using martingale at all. You can see all of his lot size is stable. That means he is only using a grid without martingale. So if you want to get similar result, you can enable martingale, but martingale is kind of risky approach and I do not recommend it. Instead, using grid with high accuracy indicator, that's okay. If we go back to my signal, now this is something I just tested for the past few weeks, and I started with 1000 USD. Of course, my lot size were a bit too high with 0.06. You should use at least 0.02 for 1k. This will be safer, but you can see I wanted to test the maximum risk and I did not use any martingale at all. Despite of that, I have 28%. So you see, you can make profit without using martingale. And we have so many trade open. You can see when the closing time of trade are same, you can see that the grid has been used at certain point of time, but sometime the grid will not be used. For example, this trade, it has been open and closed and then no grid is used. So this EI is semi-grid. That means it will not always open grid and unless the price reverses back, and at the same time the indicator will help you to get more accuracy. So let me show you the dashboard of this robot. We have two indicators. This is one for news filter and this is ES indicator. So for the Eurostable, let me show you. The vendor is using default setup. So this is the default. The calculation of this auto lot size is just some mathematical equation. It will be very easy and included in the setup. Martingale, if it is 1, that means martingale is disabled. If you want to enable it, you just put 0. And here the good thing, you can control the maximum loss. For example, some of you might say, I want to control my account. I want to have high risk, but at least at 50% of my deposit. If I am aiming for 40,000 USD, I have to put some risk. So what I would do, I would basically try to put this at 50 and then I will see what will happen. The stop loss is 0 because the vendor is not using stop loss, and the maximum open trade, I would recommend you basically try to limit it by 20 or 21 maximum trade instead of 200 as a default setting, and then you apply these changes and then you see what happened. Now for the news filter, so two filters are included. The first one, your EI will be deactivated 52 minutes before the news. So this is the good thing, and then it will be re-enabled after 1 hour or so. And then this indicator, the other one which is included, you will just let it at the indicator folder. The EI will get the feedback from this indicator to determine where to buy, where to sell. itself. So that's why I call this robot a hybrid robot between robot and indicator, which is kind of new approach. Now for the backtest, unfortunately I am not able to backtest because in MT4 you cannot enable the filters and the news filter for the purpose of the backtesting, so it will give you wrong data and wrong backtest. That's why I didn't want to backtest. However, if we go back to the history, let me just show you. You can see we have many trades started from 14th of May until now. Only in 2 weeks we already made 28%, and this is very high risk, guys. This AI is only for pro, so if you have the risk appetite and you wanted to get some gain just like the vendor, you just put your additional money into this and hope for the best. Otherwise this AI is a bit risky, and I do not recommend for someone who has low balance because it will wipe out your account easily. That's why you need to use low risk and always test it on demo to make sure to give you a perception of what is the AI or how the robot is working. So as always, pros and cons for this robot. So I think the best cons, or the first one, we have live result for plus 1 year, and the AI is very profitable, and we have news filter which is very good, and I would say it is hybrid robot between indicator and AI. I think this is something new approach. And the other way around of cons, we have the average holding time is plus 14 or 16 hour, which is a bit too much. And then we have the semi-grade or the grade system usage, which can be a bit risky AI. So I will be honest with you guys, this is risky robot. I mean, you can make a lot of profit, but at the end of the day you don't really know what will happen. So my rating for this robot, I believe that this one is 4 out of 5, and this is the fair rate for this AI because of the amazing performance of we have, but of course it is a bit risky as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.